Let me ask you something. What if the clearest, most intense memories you have weren't actually yours? I know it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but today we're going to dive into a story, a documented story, that really makes you question everything you thought you knew about who we are. We're talking about the truly incredible case of James Leininger. Just picture this for a second. It's the middle of the night and you hear screaming. And it's not from a TV show or anything like that. It's coming from your own 2-year-old son's bedroom. He's just thrashing around in his sleep. I mean, can you imagine? Well, for the Leininger family, this wasn't just a nightmare. It was their reality. Now, you'd think, okay, it's just night terrors, right? A phase lots of kids go through. And that's exactly what his parents, Bruce and Andrea, thought at first. But as it kept happening, this chilling thought started to creep in. What if this wasn't just a bad dream? What if their little boy was actually remembering something? So let's get into it. The whole mystery really kicks off with this little boy who seemed totally normal in every way, until his sleep was just completely shattered by these awful, unexplainable nightmares. And get this, it started just 2 weeks after his second birthday. I mean, think about it. At 2 years old, most kids are just figuring out how to put a few words together. But James, he was screaming about things that a toddler just shouldn't know about. And this wasn't a one-off thing. These weren't just occasional bad dreams. This was happening night after night after night. So as these nightmares just kept on coming, the Leiningers, well, they had to become more than just worried parents. They basically turned into detectives, trying to piece together the clues hidden in their own son's words. And you can see how this all started to build up. First, it's just the nightmares. Then, these really specific phrases start popping up over and over again. And pretty soon, it wasn't just happening at night. Even during the day, James would be talking about planes with this shocking level of detail. I mean, way beyond what any kid his age could know. His parents knew they had to figure out what was going on. And this right here, this is the absolute core of the whole mystery. See, he wasn't just saying plane like any little kid would. No, he was talking about specific types of World War II fighter planes. He was describing taking off from a boat, and he even named another pilot. I mean, these were real, verifiable facts. This wasn't just a kid's imagination running wild. So, with these incredibly specific names and details from their own son, the Leiningers went on this massive quest. They started digging, hoping against hope they could find a pilot named Houston. And you know what? After all that searching, they did it. They found him. The little man that James kept screaming about in his nightmares, he wasn't made up. He was a real person, a World War II fighter pilot by the name of James Huston. I mean, the connection was it was undeniable. You have the toddler's very specific claims on one hand, and on the other, you have the historical facts of a pilot who died decades before this kid was even born. And the details, they lined up perfectly, from the name of the aircraft carrier he flew from right down to the exact way he died. Now, this whole process of checking the facts, that has a name. It's called verification. And honestly, it's what makes these stories so much more than just a spooky anecdote. Like, for example, James said his plane was a Corsair and that he took off from a ship called the Natoma Bay. Well, his parents actually found military records that confirmed it. A pilot named James Huston flew a Corsair from the USS Natoma Bay and was shot down. That's verification. So, as incredible as James Leininger's story is, and it is incredible, it's actually not a one-off thing. It's part of a much, much bigger phenomenon that's being studied by serious academics. We're talking about thousands of similar cases all over the world. And get this, you might find this hard to believe, but the University of Virginia actually has an entire department for this stuff. It's called the Division of Perceptual Studies, and they are dedicated to scientifically investigating these exact kinds of cases. So this isn't some fringe conspiracy theory, it's a real field of academic study. The two big names you need to know in this field are Dr. Ian Stevenson. He was really the pioneer who started it all, and his successor, Dr. Jim Tucker. Between the two of them, they have collected and just meticulously documented thousands of cases of kids who claim to have memories of past lives. So yeah, the Leininger case is probably one of the most famous ones, especially here in the US, but it's just one of many. Every single name you see here represents another family, another kid, and another collection of
unbelievably specific memories that were checked out and proven to be true.
Okay, so what are we supposed to make of all this? When you take a step back from these individual stories, you start running into some really profound questions. Questions about what consciousness even is. You have to think, for the families who go through this, and really for anyone who takes a serious look at these stories, it's impossible to just walk away and not be changed by it. It doesn't matter if you believe in reincarnation or something else entirely. These verified cases, they force you to face the idea that maybe, just maybe, our whole understanding of life and death is missing a piece of the puzzle. And that's really the question that hangs in the air, isn't it? We usually think of our lives as this single, straight line from birth to death, but what if something like memory, which is like the very core of who we are, can actually survive after our bodies are gone? What would that mean about consciousness itself? And maybe more importantly, what would that mean for you?